point C. Everyone get ready. I'll tell you when to drop. There's 4 coming to C. All right, drop. Picking up the next group.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this E3 Planetside 2 presentation. If you happen to be at E3, do come down and check out the game. It is a free-to-play, massively multiplayer online first-person shooter. We have stations here and plenty of other players playing from the Sony offices to show you the scale of this game. My name is Totalbiscuit. My parents were cruel, and I'm sorry about that. And I'm joined by Maggie. Welcome to the show.
Yep. Thanks for joining us. It's really awesome of you.
This should be fun. We saw a little bit of this yesterday. We're going to be showing you some more interesting squad-based strategy going on between our players. So you'll be seeing things like, hopefully, some galaxy drops. Now, I suppose the question is, for those of you who haven't seen the game, what is a galaxy drop?
Basically, galaxies are one of our support vehicles, so we allow people to squad up, get into a galaxy, and then you can actually drop onto locations. And it's a great strategy for taking over bases.
Yep, and you can throw essentially an entire first-person shooter team at one target in a single vehicle. Can be a bit unfortunate when that vehicle gets brought down, of course, by enemy aircraft and interceptors.
It's good for you, because you get a lot of kills.
Yes, you do. Let's head on into the game, and we're looking at the viewpoint mode of a new conglomerate Reaver attack craft. She'll be making its way around. It's going to show you the base that we'll be demonstrating for this particular presentation. This is just one base on a massive continent.
That is correct. We actually have 9 bases on this continent, and our continent is huge, so you're only seeing one little portion of it.
That is very true.
And again, I'd like to reiterate that we have thousands of players on a single map, and the map is persistent, so your normal FPS game where you play 15 minutes and you have a battle that ends, we don't have that. You don't have a loading screen. You just die, get back in the fight.
Yep, respawn, pick up something else, and get right back in. And even if you log off, you can log back on. The fight that you were involved in can still be happening.
You're probably like that. The TR just defended that.
I don't know, actually. I think I'm wearing more VS colors this time around. I've defected. What can I say?
More NC. He's got like this blue tie.
Don't you dare accuse me of that. That's insulting. Good lord. There are 3 factions in the game, needless to say. This is the new conglomerate. That was the new conglomerate. They're not known as being the ace pilots of the universe, sadly.
Don't worry, his nanites will be reconstructed anyway.
It sounds like a painful process, honestly.
I think they'll be okay. They get shot at daily, so.
They do, yeah.
And actually what you're seeing here is a different style UI, so I don't know if you actually followed us in our live stream the other day, but we have a couple different UI options. What you saw with the infantry, we had a centered UI, and we also have the normal MMO style UI. Right now he's in a vehicle, so.
Yeah, he's actually landing this at the moment. This is a Liberator, which is taking a heck of a lot of fire. It might not be the best place to
he's
actually
like a half health, and you can see that right there. Maybe he's an engineer and he's repairing it.
I certainly hope he is, otherwise it's going to be a lot of trouble very, very fast indeed. But the Liberator actually can take 3, that is 3 crew members. And if you pilot it like this, it's not so optimal. You do have access to a very heavy 30mm cannon on the front of your vehicle, but it's much better if you happen to have a bombardier and a tail gunner.
Indeed, because you don't really have a lot of view. It's kind of a huge vehicle. Also, you can see some smoking right now.
Being on fire, not the best.
And you can see right here, his UI is actually updating. So our UI is real time showing you what's going on data-wise.
Making his way around, taking an awful lot of fire. I think now might be the time to eject, although if he hasn't equipped that with an ejector seat, he's
like a gal drop right there. Oh,
there you go. That was a galaxy dropping troops directly on top of the base.
He's like completely almost dead.
Really, now is the time to land.
Yes,
I would not want to be
bail.
flying with him under any circumstances. I would honestly think his crew members would have probably bailed out by this point.
You can actually see the whole base right there when he was driving over it.
He survives the fall surprisingly enough, but is now going to get right involved in the fight.
That was pretty cool. He just dropped down.
Going back to pick up people.
Yeah, this is a light assault class equipped with jump jets, highly mobile.
And you can see his, in this kind of UI, it's a little bit different. You can actually see his view on the left-hand side. So This is our centered UI, so you can actually see his health and his personal shield and his resources.
I believe that was actually his own grenade that he ran into there, but that's picked off by the trooper of the Vanu Sovereignty. Switch. But we'll see what he decides to do here. See if he picks up yet another aircraft.
And you can also see right here that his weapon is customized and he has a different sight on his weapon. We are allowing you to customize your weapons and your vehicles and everything to a huge extent. That's not only in just the way it looks, obviously just your camo, but also your optical sights, your utilities, and whatnot. And we're also allowing you to certify stuff. So as you level up, you're going to be certifying and changing abilities and kind of swapping things up that way also as well.
Down goes the aircraft.
Galaxy's leaving in 10 seconds.
What you hear right there is some people talking over the Vivox intercom. We have our own in-game audio.
All right.
So you can actually squad up, make channels, join channels, and organize your gameplay.
All right, Galaxy's leaving.
You can hear the voice over IP is being used to coordinate a Galaxy drop, which is going to be coming down at any moment on the base. I'm going to try and switch to a view where hopefully we'll actually get a chance to see that.
We're going to capture point B this time.
This is our Flash. This is our ATV, smaller vehicle. It's super fast, it's super fragile, but it can pounce major damage. So you kind of just want to get in a few shots and then jump out.
Here it goes.
But here you go. You're seeing a gal drop, a couple aircrafts that are protecting the gals while they're going down. We actually have like 3 gals dropping. So
yeah, bear in mind the scale of this game. You're looking at the numbers are fairly significant. 2,000 players per continent.
Yes, and our continents are huge. They're huge.
Massive, massive air. And what you've got is a situation where you could have 10 galaxies, maybe even 20 galaxies, all dropping on one location.
Probably. Just to give you some perspective, like this area that you're seeing right here is bigger than a map that you would play in like Battlefield.
Yeah.
So it's pretty huge, and we have 9 of these bases, and in between those bases we have some terrain and whatnot that you're, going to be utilizing as well to make some kind of strategy out of it.
Yeah, not just that, but there's actually smaller outposts which are involved in territory capture, as well as towers, which provide very close combat experience for those who are into close quarters.
Leaving in 10.
Threw some grenades in there. Didn't get a kill, but
well, you got the cleanup right there. That was friendly. An oblivious Terran Republic soldier.
I think we're okay with that because we both don't really care for the nuke conglomerate anyway.
No, we're not big fans of that. Factional rivalry is a huge thing in this game. Once you pick your faction, most people stick with it, and as a result, hate the other two.
We're also only allowing you to have 1 character per server, so it kind of gets you stuck in there. I think a lot of times you play in a lot of other FPS games, and you're like, okay, I'm Russian, I'm American, I don't know who I am, I'm just killing people. In this game, you really get Empire loyalty, so it's a lot different.
Very true. Rather huge Galaxy dropship directly above there, once again dropping more troops into the fight. This is all organized by players. None of this is automatic. You have to board the Galaxy, fill it up with crew, fly it to the destination, ensure that you don't get shot down in the process, and then drop your squad on the target, and hopefully not get gunned down as they fall.
I just really have to comment. I love the centered UI. I mean, a lot of people like the normal, MMO style UI, but I just love the centered UI because I don't really like looking around the edges of my map. But as you can see right here, this is one of our base capturing systems. Oh, it just died. When it comes back up, you actually see that this is a ticket system. So you want to capture as many bases as you can and hold them and defend them, and then you get a ticket count that goes up.
That's very true, and holding bases is just so incredibly important. Unfortunately, the nuke conglomerates seem to be getting just a little bit slaughtered at the moment. So let's hop over to my favorite view, which is the Terran Republic.
You can see his camo on his armor is customized and his weapon, and he has a different scope on. I don't really know what he's doing.
He's dancing around, he's showing off, obviously. Making a soldier look good is infinitely as important as actually taking any territory with it whatsoever.
And you have to remember, these are just people who are starting to play the game right now.
Point B.
Voice over IP being demonstrated once again there. The Terran Republic has been called to attack Point B. Terran Republic Mosquito now flying over the base just to give you a nice aerial view of what to expect.
Yeah, and if you're an original Planetside player, the Mosquito used to be something that everyone could use. Mosquito is now only a Terran Republic vehicle. And then the Reaver is now the new conglomerate, and the Vanu Sovereignty have a new vehicle called the Scythe.
yeah, the site is an interesting one because it has a tendency to turn on a dime. It's very, very quick.
See, I love it. A lot of people have been telling me how it's like weird to play it. I'm like, I love the site. It's I think it's easier. But that's also something I'd like to comment on is that every faction has a different style and feel. So depending on how you're driving a vehicle, you're going to really see that, you know, the VS has a different feel than the NC versus the TR.
Yeah, that's so very important there. And wow, that looks like it's actually taken out by a Galaxy. Galaxies are armed. They're a little bit difficult to maneuver. These things are absolutely massive.
They're huge.
Yeah, but he was gunned down by one of the gunners in the Galaxy, which was hovering over the base, providing supporting fire.
And I know a lot of people are commenting on our in-game VoIP. We're really trying to work on making sure the quality is really good. So, I mean, that's something that we're going to continually get better at. I know that like a lot of people use Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or something like that. We want to negate that whole process. We want you to be able to easily get in, switch up your UI, be able to make channels, password protected if you want. You know, we really want to provide that for players.
Certainly.
I mean, Planetside is all about strategy. I mean, that's the biggest thing, and I can't wait to actually show you guys huge columns of tanks and huge columns of aircraft. Galaxies all together. It's just a massive fight that like no one's seen before unless you've played the original.
Yeah, and even then it wasn't even this kind of scale.
No, this is thousands of players versus Planetside was a lot less, but it was still a huge battlefield.
Yeah, it's about 130 or so per faction, and that's impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's nothing even close to this kind of scale, and that's the result of advancing technology.
Yeah, ForgeLight, it's our new engine that we've built from the ground up, so we've kind of, you know, brought this into the genre of MMO FPSs, and I hope that MMO FPSs become something of the, you know, the new age.
Yeah, a lot of people have been trying to make them an extreme challenge.
Oh, no,
what else is an extreme challenge? Trying to fight a max unit with a beamer pistol. He's a brave man, not a sensible man.
I don't know why he pulled out his pistol.
That was not a very good idea. That was just straight up silliness.
This is a Vanguard. Apparently he's repairing it. Engineers have the ability to repair maxes and vehicles. So they're really great as a support class. And they can also drop turrets and some other things as well. They're a deployable class.
Pretty much vitally important as far as I'm concerned. If you don't have this, vehicles are not free. You can't just grab a vehicle and say, right, okay, I'm just going to spawn another tank if I lose my tank. No, not only does it take resource, but also takes time to spawn. When you've got a lot of players trying all to get vehicles at once, they end up in a spawning queue, and the longer you're in it, well, the longer you're going to be sitting around a base. So it's preferable to keep your existing vehicles running.
Yeah, so our resource system provides another layer of metagame that I don't think, you know, other people realize.
30 seconds.
It allows you to kind of strategize and say, hey, if we keep this resource from our enemies, they won't be able to spawn X, Y, or Z. So it's a great strategy as well as, you know, taking a note of what the battlefield looks like and kind of learning from that.
Certainly. The Vanguard tank now engaging
and that's a nanite system Lightning.
Yep, which is going down pretty sharp. Admittedly, it's taken a lot of fire from the air by the looks of it. Oh, yes. That was not how you drive a tank. Not a good example.
Well, he had an aircraft also shooting.
Yeah, that didn't help. He was taking a lot of punishment from the air there.
But the aircraft was right in his face. He could have just shot him, got that over with, and then gone back to the Lightning.
Well, Captain Hindsight in the situation. Game sounds a bit and loud.
I think this guy has turned up his volume.
I think so.
So maybe someone on the floor can turn that guy down a bit for us.
There you go.
This is actually the site that we were talking about earlier, and when you saw that lock, he was getting a lock on, so he was trying to dodge that. We actually have ways for you to toss out flares to get those rockets off of you.
Yeah, as part of the vehicle customization system, you don't have to have flares, but if you pick something else, then of course you're going to be without them. You might end up in a nasty situation. It really comes down to how you want to fly, what kind of loadout you want for your aircraft, and then you can cert along the direction that you want to create a play style that suits you.
And not only that, we allow you to save your loadouts too. So you can save a loadout that maybe, hey, this is going to be for more when I'm going against tanks in an aircraft or when I'm going against other aircraft. So a lot of that's going to play into the game whenever you're grabbing your loadouts and you want to do that quickly. The original Planetside had that as well, where you could grab different loadouts quickly.
We need more for the
loadouts, of course, is these max unit coming in right here.
I love the Max. The Max is one of the coolest because you can dual wield weapons and you actually get to customize the weapons separately. So we allow you to customize the left and the right weapon, and you can even change the looks of them on a single basis as well. So it's pretty awesome. I kind of have this love for the flamethrower though, especially at night, because it's so cool looking.
Yeah, very much so. We'll get a chance to show you some night gameplay at some point in this demonstration without question. We've got plenty of time here.
That's an engineer turret that's back there in that corner.
Yeah, and he got absolutely ripped to shreds, actually.
There was actually a Max that was right behind him as well, so.
Yeah, a lot of people have been commenting the Max seems like a very, very powerful unit, but it does have its drawbacks, and
it's really slow.
Our players are now actually figuring out how to bring them down as well.
Yeah, I actually saw a light assault player earlier today do really well. He was amazing, and he had just hopped on. He was jump jetting over him, shooting at him, jump jetting over behind objects, and he totally killed the Max. It was a pretty good fight to watch.
Yeah, you can do it. You've just got to actually get the skill for it.
Ooh, and you see another gal drop that's coming over here, and you got this guy who's actually, maybe it's not a gal drop, maybe it's just driving over the ship.
Yeah, you can still use them as a fire support weapon.
There you go.
There's actually 4 players going. You can drop more than that, significantly more, in fact.
You can see his vehicle is customized as well, like the way it looks. So it matches the desert camo that in our area. Yeah,
that's going to be the kind of thing that I suppose groups of players and friends will want to do. They're all going to want to have a kind of a uniform, and they're going to have the capability.
That's going to be the coolest. I think I was telling Clegg about this earlier today. Is that it's going to be really awesome to see outfits group up, dress up, and like you see them come and you're like, oh man, those guys are badass. I'm going to watch out for them because they're going to kick my butt. Or I need to grab some friends, you know? So that's going to be really awesome to be able to see that.
Identity is very important. I'm going to show you a lot of aerial play today because it is rather exciting as Mosquito brought down there by the new conglomerate Reaver.
We actually have a lot of people playing aircrafts today.
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good to see. I'm trying to show you as much of the scale
as possible.
We
got some sights down here too.
It's always difficult to show the true scale of Planetside 2 simply because you need 2,000 players on one continent to show you this is the maximum extreme that we can get to.
Yeah, once we hit beta, it's going to be amazing to see all the strategy and gameplay that people come up with.
New conglomerate just actually dropped in on his squad mate. Unfortunately, picked a pretty bad place to drop right into a canyon there.
Though, so.
Yeah, he can get out of there. It's not a problem.
And you can see he has a different sight on. He's got a reflex sight. I don't know if he has like the double X zoom or not. I can't see because he hasn't zoomed in yet. And then he also has this camo that's on it.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to see that amount of customization. That's a bit help. You get no help here, son.
He's going to put in a bug for us.
No chance at all. We'll switch over to the view of the Terran Republic that currently control a facility, which is what I like to see.
And they're actually winning, too. Like, if you look over here, they're controlling the facility on the left-hand side, and they're also winning. It's a lucky day for you. Where are my Vanu brethren? I need to go over there and, like, cheer for them.
Need more for the Galaxy.
Will that help? We shall see. Galaxy Pilot currently trying to gather players for a Galaxy drop. In the first game, you had to do all of that simply over text chat, which
Galaxy taking off in
that's
10.
A fairly limited success.
Those of you that are in the NC spawn, get in the Galaxy.
And you see these guys are organizing fights. And we're trying to show that off a lot. I mean, we have some people down in the QA in San Diego playing with us as well. We're trying to organize these guys. We gave all of these guys headsets too so that they can talk and chat with people as well.
Yeah, the cool thing about the voiceover IP, as you can see Galaxy flying over there, is that as soon as you jump in a vehicle, you are automatically put in the voiceover IP channel with everyone else that's currently in the vehicle. So you can immediately coordinate without having to fiddle around.
Exactly.
I'm going to switch over to the Terran Republic viewpoint at the moment. Doesn't have to be the loudest viewpoint in the game.
Yeah, we'll have to get them turned down a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately some of the stations are a little louder than others at the moment. It's actually interesting at the moment. We're seeing some look at the implant interface here.
There are Vanu at B. I repeat, there are
Yeah, the implants are pretty awesome. We have a variety of different things that we're going to let you see. And as you can see on the right-hand side, we have boosts as well. Boosts are going to give you experience, resource boosts, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to try to let you do that kind of stuff as well.
Stand by.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the amount of options that you have available there. And we're back to the air combat, since that's some of the best fun that we've seen thus far. Got our Reaver pilot here, who's doing fairly well for himself.
Going right underneath the bridge. He must have an idea of how big his vehicle is. We've seen quite a few people try to, like, you know, go through bridges or underneath you know, things, and then they get
Most
caught.
players don't manage it.
Well, it's something that you just have to get used to the vehicle size.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, our Reaver pilot seems to know what he's doing.
Getting some bonus points there, experience.
Also notice it's getting a bit darker in
We're
game
at
at
the
the
Fort
moment.
Garrison.
We're getting our day-night transition by the looks of it.
Yeah, we do have a day-night cycle, and I know that earlier during our Sony Online TV stream, we had some people asking about that, and we haven't finished this time frame that we want to do that at. Right now we have it at about an hour, I believe.
He's leaving
Ooh,
in 10.
And as you can see, he can actually do barrel rolls, so we allow you to kind of maneuver however you want.
Yeah, that was something that you just couldn't do in the first game then.
Yeah, you're just like, that's your right.
At the end of the day, that game came out in 2003. It was limited in a lot of different ways, and unfortunately,
I think it was ahead of its time.
I would say it was.
Right,
It
drop,
felt
drop,
it. It
drop,
really
drop.
did. There were limitations as a result. See a Galaxy drop going off once again here.
This guy's smoking a little bit.
Yeah, might be. Well,
damage.
actually, he hasn't taken too much damage. Well, Reavers are a little bit flimsy.
Personally, whenever I'm gunning, I always want to be an engineer, so I can just drop down,
Land,
resupply.
fix it up, get back out.
I actually saw earlier today there were two Prowler buddies grouped up here. They're like, all right, I'm gonna get in the Prowler, and you know, one of them was a NG, and they were just repairing each other. They went for a long time, just huge kill streaks.
Always
So
good to see.
teamwork means it's like huge in our game, and the synergy between classes and vehicles are awesome.
You become so much more effective. I mean, the prime example of what we're just seeing on the screen right here. A Liberator has a powerful front gun. That's great.
But
But
people
throw in
getting
a
the
second
Liberator.
crew member, and you've got a Bombardier position, which you can customize with a wide variety of different weapons, including anti-personnel mortars, high explosive armor-piercing cannons, and then, of course, a tail gunner will give you additional anti-air firepower, as well as the ability to swap out. If you really don't want to have anti-air, you can have a heat round. You can have a tank buster round in the back.
That's correct. And having a tail gunner is huge advantage
Yeah,
because you
Liberator
can't really
come over
shoot
too if you
anything
guys,
back there,
can't get them
and there's
down.
always going to be enemy aircraft behind you, so you're really vulnerable if you don't have one.
Yeah, as you can see, the Liberator is
Galaxy
a little bit
5.
difficult to pilot. It is quite a cumbersome vehicle, but it is rather tough. Although I have a feeling, you know, he's going to have to pay for that. That's getting billed to him. That was an unfortunate
Right,
bit of
take
flying
off
there
in
from
5.
one of our testers here at the booth, in which case, if you happen to be coming by, do please come and try the game out. By all means,
All right,
it's available.
come
Yeah, and we actually have a Galaxy right here, so maybe they're going to load some people
All right,
up.
we got 3
If
more
people-
spots left in
It
the
looks like there's
Galaxy.
some people in the Galaxy. Is he actually going to fly it? Right, okay. So this is a prime example.
All right, here we go.
We're actually going to see the Galaxy here from a top view. We're going to drop everybody from this Galaxy. This Galaxy is
Where's the
full
capture
to
point C?
capacity. As you can see, it has 12 crew members in it. One of our testers is going to attempt to fly this in.
You can actually
Get ready
see
to
one of the
drop.
gunners moving on the side there, shooting down.
Yep, the Galaxy does have 3 guns. They're fairly powerful, but a little bit difficult to maneuver and aim. And here we go, folks. Galaxy is on the way. Now it's time to drop, and that was an entire FPS team you just saw thrown out of a vehicle.
Such a good sight too, especially if we got a ground sight on that too, so you could see all the people come down.
Shame the
Especially
pilot
that one
got
guy was
shelled
all
as
by
soon as he went
himself.
down, but you know what, we can forgive him for that. We're going to switch over to the viewpoint of someone with the squad. You'll see everyone is together. The greatest thing about the Galaxy drop, aside from it being a fantastic thing to watch, is your entire squad lands together. And they
Yeah,
can
it's not
then,
like you have to go find each other.
yeah,
Like, where
you're
you
all
at?
there. Look at you. You've got 2 max units now moving forward. They're gradually pushing their way here
Alright, assault.
into this capture point.
Watching out for the grenade, but I guess he's apparently too
Well,
close.
never mind. Never mind. But the Nuclear Conglomerate are actually doing much better now as a result of using these coordinated Galaxy drops to drop on a specific point and
We're
storm
right
it.
at the Fort
Yeah, it actually
Garrison
brought
here
them
for
up
the
a little
next
more
takeoff.
even with the Terran Republic right there.
It did. It did. This is the kind of squad-based, teamwork-centric maneuver that will give you the edge in a battle. And you're going to see this to a much larger scale. That was 1 squad. You can have 10 Galaxies, 20. In theory, you can have 50, 100 Galaxies, no problem whatsoever.
We have more seats available in the Galaxy.
Looks like they're loading up another Galaxy as we can hear. So
There we
this
go.
is the Mosquito. He's doing a little barrel roll there. Oh yeah.
Showing off
Flying
just a
upside
few of the
down.
new lighting effects that have actually come in here.
I really wish it was nighttime so you could see that, but
It's
right
getting
now
there.
you can see the sunset.
It's getting there.
Beautiful. You can see it's kind of a little foggy because it's a desert land. It's
At the moment, we've just got this air furball. This is the kind of thing that's going to constantly happen over bases because air superiority is vitally important. If you have air superiority, galaxy drops can't happen.
Oh, and you just saw a bunch of people squad spawn on each other right there too.
Yep.
A bunch of drop pods.
The drop pods, yeah. Galaxy drops can't happen. Liberator attacks, which are devastating to enemy vehicles and personnel on the ground, they can't happen either. So fighting for control of the air is hugely important.
I'm like mesmerized by the contrails. I'm like, ooh.
It's pretty, isn't it? And it gets prettier.
I think the reason why he's flying around a lot probably is because he's getting a lot of lock on, so he's trying to dodge it. And he's pretty low on the health right now, so
yeah,
he's gotta get back to his barracks.
Things looking a bit worse for wear, let's just say, and there it goes.
Of course, taken out by a scythe because the Vanu are the best.
Standard faction bias, it never goes away.
Final call. Galaxy at the forward garrison.
It's probably for the best, really.
Galaxy at the forward garrison.
We'll see the TR go to a vehicles point and immediately spawn a Mosquito, costing 125 of a very specific resource. It's currently in the queue, which is why it took a little longer to get a vehicle out of there. Queuing system is really the only fair way, and it also limits the number of vehicles that are going to be coming out at any given time. You can't suddenly spawn 50 planes all at once. It's something you've got to do one after. Well, it would be ridiculous. Down he goes again. He's not having a lot of luck.
That scythe is just owning.
I think that might need to be nerfed, actually.
No
Can
way.
we do that? Can we get one of the devs here?
It's because the Vanu are more skilled.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, certainly.
Hey, you were saying how it's hard to fly them, so.
Well, we've got a bit of a lull in the action. We're going to actually head on over to an interview with the one and only Mighty Clegg. So, take it away.
Looks like he's still trying to get some communication there going.
We're going to have to go back. That, unfortunately, looks like the mics that we have attached to the lapels aren't quite working at the moment. So we'll get that
we're not hearing
resolved
them on the intercom either, so.
No, we'll get that resolved
get that
momentarily. At the moment, we're going to get back into the fight. Once again,
it's kind of a little wobbly over there.
That looks tasty.
Ooh, we got it.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting away from that anytime soon.
It's actually pretty difficult to get even a lock on because you have to really keep them in your.
Everything I've seen on the show floor today.
Iron sights
So you're a
right
Planetside 1 veteran?
Oh, absolutely. Way back when.
All right, we're going to hop on over to that interview right now.
Friends you want to start playing Planetside 2 with?
Oh, yeah. I have 200 or so on there.
Sweet,
so
that's cool.
it'll
All
be
right,
pretty
so what are
nice.
you going to do when the first day you log into Planetside 2? What's the first thing you're going to want to do?
Oh, I've got to get my Pulsar going.
Pulsar?
I got a chance to try it out a bit, and the Pulsar is just so sweet now. All those new modifications for it, the ability to have burst fire on it now, that's just super awesome.
Definitely. Well, did you get yourself a beta key?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. All right, so it sounds like you're good to go.
Yep.
All right, that's Reese. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Adam. And apologies for the sound problems there, just getting a few tuning problems set up.
Yeah, and if you were here with us yesterday, we actually had a microphone, and we realized that people don't realize that they have to talk into it, so we kind of are trying to do things.
Yeah, that was good.
Cool.
All right, so we're going to...
Did they not get the first question?
Another Reaver.
We're going to go back into the Reaver piloting here.
Air support coming to sea.
Looks like he's going to try to respawn here. Possibly get another vehicle.
All right.
Why not? Now, normally you wouldn't really be able to do this. All of the stations have been given a significant number of resources to make this work.
Well, unless you're really skilled, then you might not have any problems.
Yeah, he's really chewing through resources. If you keep losing vehicles like that, then you're going to be in a position where you can't pick up any more until you get involved in more combat, until your Empire is able to actually grab more resources and territory.
Yeah, territory is a huge advantage. I mean, resources are going to be a big metagame, and as we said, we were talking about that before, you really are going to want to take resources away from your enemies by taking over certain areas.
You can see the day-night cycle is starting to kick in.
Here we
We've
go.
got a nice dusk view here.
And what you saw in the background over there was actually the biolab too when you flew by. It looks really beautiful.
It's one of the
Here we go, nighttime play almost.
Oh yes, almost there anyway. Yeah, you just see the biolab in the corner
see the
there.
moon up there in the corner.
It does get quite dark
Yeah, we
darker
actually
than
have
most games.
flashlight attachments and also headlights, and you can change the colors for those as well.
This is also the kind of time when you might want to switch out to an infrared scope. Admittedly, that will most likely put you in an awkward position if you decide to use it in the daytime.
Yeah. So a lot of people might actually have a loadout that's just for nighttime play.
Yeah.
Or a couple of them, actually.
I have no doubt that they will. Absolutely sensible thing to do without question.
I think Clegg is back there helping all the NC out and not helping everyone else out because they're winning.
Ridiculously unfair. What you will notice is that the ambient lighting outside does affect the level of the lights inside as well. So fighting inside is going to get a little bit darker. A lot of these spaces are very much open plan.
Yeah, depending on the lighting in the building, I mean, right now you're getting, like this building right here has a lot of the lighting coming from the outside. And some of the various objects that are in there as well.
Nice pick up there by our new conglomerate little friend.
Yeah, and you can see that he has a different scope than some of the other guys too.
Yep. Light Assault, with the jetpack flares going in the background, just jumps directly over him and completely ignores him. But a nice grenade hit picks him up. The new conglomerate now have control of the facility. They've got it on a pretty solid lockdown.
TR's getting up there a little bit, but I think the NC are doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, that Max unit is looking to try and change things around just a little bit.
I think their coordinated gal drops and stuff are really helping them out. Oh, I thought he was going to back there and knife him.
That would have been impressive if he managed to pull it off, but he did end up getting gunned down. I believe that was actually by his friend there.
Yes,
it does have
it was
friendly
an NC
fires
Max.
permanently on. That is a deliberate design choice.
Yeah, I mean, we played around with it a little bit with it off, but there's a lot of exploitable things you can do without it. I mean, that's always something we could do for like a specific server, but yeah. I think it also adds a little more strategy and tactic to things. You can't just be like, I'm going to run in front of all my friends.
Yeah,
you know?
it actually is a balancing thing as well. You've got to consider that it does limit the usefulness of vehicles like Liberators, for instance, because otherwise you could carpet bomb a base indiscriminately.
Oh yeah, that's
Everyone
true.
just dies immediately. You can't do that because if you do, then you will accrue what's called grief points. Various bad things will end up happening to you as a direct result of that. You'll end up killing your friends. Not a very good idea.
And you probably won't win that way.
Generally speaking, no. You're
Probably
not going to
get a lot
get
of
all
hate
that far.
tells too.
You will, certainly. I just love the way the actual afterburner boosters look at nighttime. There's
You could see one of the warp gates there in the corner too.
those things are always rather nice. We should stress that this out of bounds is not actually in the full game.
Yes.
It is there simply for the purpose of this demonstration.
It's just for this demo. And as you see, like this whole area that he just came back to and that whole demo area, that's just only one little section of our game. We have 9 of those with bases on them, and then in between we also have terrain. So the continent is huge. We just wanted to keep the fights centralized so people can actually find each other.
Yeah, it would be a bit awkward if we had all of our testers just wandering off in different directions, not able to find each other. The full game makes perfect sense. It's going to show you where the fights are. There were some things called hotspots in the first game, which would demonstrate where the larger battles were occurring. With this territory system now, you're going to be able to just directly see where the front line is. You're going to see... Oh, that was fun. You're going to see...
What you guys aren't seeing right now is his chair just broke.
The chair has now been sabotaged. Let's not go back to cam at the moment, but whatever the case. Right, this just feels awkward.
I'm tall, actually.
Yeah, that's always nice to do every once in a while, I guess. But the territory system does show where the front line is directly. You're going to see, all right, the new conglomerate owns this, we own this part of the continent, so obviously we want to press into their territory and we're going to attack them.
And I'd like to talk about how he was talking about the hotspots. We have a new system that's going to be in place for people, and it's actually our mission system. And we're going to be using a lot of resource systems and bases, and we're going to try to find something that really gets everyone together and gets you in the fight and gets you in the right fight at the right time. So for players who don't really know what they're doing, that'll be great.
That's probably for the best.
Oh, this guy's on a 7 kill streak.
Yeah, the new conglomerate are actually demonstrating a very solid defense here. They are working in groups against the encroaching units. Running around on your own is viable but dangerous.
He just dropped an ammo packet right there for his homies. And you can actually see that he's got some really cool blue camo on. It's probably working out for him really well right now because it's so dark.
It's like the way that if you're on the ground, there is still a massive air battle going on above you, and it does affect you one way or the other. As soon as those aircraft decide to turn their rockets on you, then things are about to get a little bit too hot to handle.
It's like they're going to try to take C back from the Vanner.
Yep, they're being
I
able
didn't
to
even
do
see your
that.
home dogs on the map. Where the Terran at?
We were having a cocktail party. You guys aren't invited.
Apparently.
So get ready.
I
They're
hope
gonna
the
drop
Vanu
it,
make a
drop it.
huge comeback. You hear that, VS? Come on, guys, kill everything. Doing a little cheer for them.
They're
Although they
struggling
probably
just
can't hear
a
me.
little
They all
bit.
have their headsets on.
That is a little awkward for them, but they are struggling somewhat. The new conglomerate are defending all 3 points extremely well at the moment, working in
Yeah, it
teams
looks like they have a couple maxes at each door and maybe a light assault and a couple other people to help not only repair but also drop some ammo down for people and stuff like that.
I've spawned myself an additional chair.
Yeah.
This will not be an option in the full game. I just want to point that out. We'd prefer you standing.
Whoa, I thought he was going to jump right into that.
That was impressive that he managed to dodge it. VS
I don't
Trooper
think
coming
he
in from
even
the top
meant
there.
to. And that's a medic right there.
Yeah, there's a surprising amount of vertical gameplay in this as a result of the not only the light assault class, but the ability to drop from vehicles on top of bases. You're going to have to deal with threats coming from above, not only vehicles, but also troops on the walls, on the ramparts of different facilities.
Especially this base. This base has a huge advantage on the walls. So actually holding the walls is really important in order to shoot down at your enemies down there.
New Conglomerate Liberator being strafed there by the Terran Republic Mosquito, deciding now is a good time to eject. I'm surprised he survived that.
And he's going to kill himself anyway.
I don't want to live anymore. That's just depressing to watch.
Just like I want the Terran to do.
You're a horrible person, you know that.
LTR, 6 points.
We're
Only
just
their
trying to make it
character, not
fair
real
for the
life.
other teams.
Yeah, that's why you're only showing the TR now.
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
This is the Mosquito, and you can kind of see his flying up around
We
the
can also
side.
see him being riddled with bullets by a scythe on the back by the looks of it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere in a hurry.
Toasty. And it's the same guy, Montez. He's one of our QA testers.
That guy scares me. I don't want to be anywhere near him.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Evidently. What we have here is one fight with a heavy machine gun mounted to it, which is
Yeah.
extremely safe. As you can see, you can actually drive those inside the facility. Not usually the best idea,
Yeah,
and that's why.
they're super fragile. So, I mean, we still have some kinks that we're running out, but yeah, you have to be really careful with those guys. They go really fast, but you do not want to run into things with them.
That they do. Let's have a look at what your buddies in purple are doing.
Oh, yeah. Check
Varna's
him out.
Sovereignty, the most technologically advanced faction in the game. They generally deal with energy
I love
weapons.
his camo too. It's my favorite.
And there's the pulsar weapon being used there. All of the sights are custom, regardless, depending on which faction you are with. So you can have a reflex sight, you can have an ACOG, you can have a zoom function, an IR, whatever you want, but it's going to be themed to the faction in question. In this case, you have a very futuristic-looking red
I
dot.
think he's trying to get that.
It's hard to do, but it's not impossible,
What's a
as demonstrated.
mosquito? Yeah.
You can blow
It's
up
really dark out right now. It's hard to see.
very much so.
And you just saw that guy jumped out, so he actually got a vehicle destruction kill. So even if the guy jumps out, you can still defeat the vehicle and get some points for that experience.
Yeah, that's certainly what you want out of something like that. That's the most annoying thing to actually
Yeah,
have
when
happen.
they jump out and you're like, oh, I almost got a kill, and then you don't get it. 'cause
Don't get the
they jumped out.
experience, yeah. I think shooters have learned from that horrendous denial.
That's not where I would resupply at all.
I wouldn't recommend
It's like
it.
out in the open.
That seems like a terrible idea. And in fact, as you can see on the minimap, there is an enemy vehicle nearby, as well as multiple enemy
I also love
contacts.
this iron sights too. What he could do right there is hit Q and kind of spot that guy, so anybody that's in that building that's on his team would actually be able to see that as well. But
Usually a fairly good idea.
Anybody really spotting people.
No, yeah, obviously a lot of the guys that we're showing here are brand new to the game. They've never actually played it before, so they're just trying to get a feel for it. You don't expect to see expert play on day one.
Well, definitely.
Well, this guy is on a hunt at the moment, actually trying to take on a max unit on his own, that's a difficult prospect.
You can definitely do it. You just have to be really careful. It's more of a kiting experience than anything else.
Indeed it
It
is.
looks like he got killed to a friendly grenade.
It can be a risk. Go back to the perspective of a new conglomerate. Reaver here is involved in the air battle up above. Air battle is raging at the moment between all three factions. Dogfighting is entirely possible. These aircraft are highly maneuverable.
I just love all the debris coming down. It's awesome.
You got to watch out for that. I'm told debris falling can actually do damage. Something that Higby was telling me last night.
Yep.
Garrison, get in the galaxy.
Don't.
Yeah, dodge it.
Yeah, don't get hit by that.
They
Drop
pretty
pods
much
as
look
well.
like giant
Squad
comets
bomb.
coming down at you. You're like, oh.
Yeah, they do. Drop pods as well falling down. They
Yes,
can actually
they can
kill
hurt
people.
you.
So do avoid large falling objects and remember to wear protective headgear at all times. Looks like he was going to have a close
Scythe
encounter
is
with the
doing
pillar.
so good.
That Montez is a demon. Absolute demon. I want to be anywhere near that fella.
And here we go with the Max again.
Yeah, in
Looks
this
like he needs
case,
some repairs though.
yeah, he can be repaired by an engineer class. That is a very dangerous loadout for anti-air. That is actually dual burster cannons, which are flak. Unfortunately, not very
Not good
effective taking on
against
infantry,
infantry.
especially when you're missing with every
He should
other
just go
shot.
up there and melee him.
You can't, yeah, you could just smack him around.
Oh, he got him.
Well, he got him in the head.
That
It
guy
still
must-
does damage one way or the other. Now, this is a perfect opportunity for this Max unit to actually start doing damage to aircraft.
We're going to take over capture point B. Get ready.
That's actually Burster Max versus Burster Max in a duel.
Yes.
This could take a while.
Who will win? Well, he's also really low in health, so I don't know if it's very beneficial for him to do that.
Yeah, I have a feeling this guy's going down soon. Thankfully, he's found someone who's
He's been
asleep
doing
over
pretty
there.
good against infantry even with that loadout.
That's fairly impressive.
We're still in it.
The problem with nighttime is that friend or foe recognition can become a little bit more difficult, so you really do need to learn the silhouettes. Each vehicle, even the different troopers for individual units on
Yeah,
the ground, they look different.
If you haven't already
Good job,
seen,
NC,
like
way
the
to take it.
Terran Republic are a little bit more smooth, whereas the NC have very boxy characters, and then the
Galaxy
Vanny
at the Fort
Sovereignty
Garrison.
have very rounded,
Let's defend our base.
alien, looking silhouettes. So
Certainly, so learn to identify who's your friend, who's your foe fairly quickly. That was a squad spawn.
oh my goodness,
This is actually a great position.
if he stays up there,
Certainly hope he does. This is a perfect
and
position.
he can't jump. Maxes can't jump.
No, they
so.
cannot. That was a nice opportunity there for him to take out a Terran Republic Mosquito. He hasn't been able to do that. Maxes on walls and on ceilings with anti-air weapons are a huge threat. One of the, in fact, I think at the moment, the most dangerous ground-based threat to any aircraft.
What you're seeing with those sparkly lights over to the
Actually,
right
we're
of
gonna
him,
take over
those
B.
are our little chutes that like bring you up and down and allow you to get on top of towers and up here in the center of the building.
Bail.
You can hear once again Galaxy drops going off in the background from the in-game voiceover IP. Nice and easy to use. Incredibly easy to use.
It's kind of awesome for us too, because we know where to switch to. Too,
Yeah, certainly.
when we hear them.
The Galaxy, that is the tail gunner of a Galaxy, which has had a close encounter of the rock kind.
I do not want to be in the galaxy with that guy.
I don't trust him, honestly. I used to fly Galaxies in Planetside 1. I couldn't be trusted either.
Yeah, and galaxies are actually spawn points too, so if they're deployed, you can actually spawn at them.
We're going to win if we can't get
I'm
back
okay
our
with
base.
spawning at a Galaxy that's on the ground. One that's in the air, being in that, especially with someone piloting like that, probably not.
At least 5 in this galaxy to take back the base.
Generally not a very good idea.
Looks like the NC are actually kind of leading, and then we got the VS and the TR.
Leave the restricted area.
Pressure is
behind.
certainly being put in.
It's actually a pretty good battle.
Well, it was a reasonable airspeed on it. Actually found the Galaxy on the ground and crashed into the Galaxy on the ground.
We can't let this facility fall.
Not the most effective way of taking out a Galaxy. You can certainly do damage that way, but probably would have
We
been
need to
better to
take
stop.
over B and
Bear in mind,
fast.
these vehicles are vertical takeoff and landing. You can stop, you can hover. It takes a little bit of effort. If you've ever flown a helicopter in previous games, you probably know something of what I'm talking about, but these things can kick it up to high speed very quickly.
Yes.
All right.
Luckily, the
Bail,
UI is very obvious and it allows you to know, how fast you're going. So you
Certainly.
can kind of compensate for that.
If we
Definitely
get B,
helps.
we can
I think
defend
it's,
this.
I mean,
Nice. Great
with
job,
anything,
NC. We
you just
got
get
this.
better over time too.
Yep. That Galaxy, I think, went down in the background. It was in flames in the process. Nice pickup right there by
We got a
the
successful
Conglomerate
defend.
troop, currently on a 3-kill streak. Trying to hold on to this amp station. It's very close here between the Vanu and the new Conglomerate. Once that bar fills up, as it just has,
Ooh,
that's a
looks like
successful
New Conglomerate
defense.
got it.
NC.
That one last cap got the blow.
Yep, once the defense happens, it takes a while for things to start over again. And usually in a live game scenario,
Got killed by the zebra guy.
that's embarrassing. In a live game scenario, what you'd be seeing is that the new conglomerate would start cleaning up pockets of resistance still found within the base. They'd start cleaning up spawn points. They'd make sure that they were spawning vehicles. They have control over vehicle spawning facilities. And then they would move on to the next target.
There's a Galaxy at the Fort Garrison.
Yep, and then they would continue to try to progress throughout the continent.
All TR.
I think a Galaxy ended up falling on him there. It's a bit unfortunate. Switch over to a different view. As you can see, once again, another example of both a camo and a sight customization. Actually using
and also laser dot too.
Yeah, he's got a drum magazine on that heavy assault weapon there.
It's an LMG, so yeah. I mean, it takes a while to reload, but you have a huge pool of ammo. So the way he's actually reloading a lot is probably not that beneficial.
No, that's something I guess you'd have to learn after a while. The reload time on drum magazines does take a while. You have a lot of bullets. You've got 75 shots before you have to reload with that particular weapon. So no need to really reload after every kill. It's difficult though. It's a reflex for FPS
Yeah,
players.
I do that all the time. That's why I have a little hard time sometimes when I'm switching to those. But I do love the heavy assault class because you can also take down vehicles with them.
Certainly.
So.
What I'm going to do right here is switch over to the viewpoint of a gunner in a Galaxy. This is one of the 3 gunning positions available in this huge troop dropship. At the moment, they're going to be loading up players into the Galaxy.
You sky in the background right there.
It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it?
Ugh.
Needless to say, as we pointed out, this is an alpha build, so there is a lot of cleaning up to be done. In this case, the Galaxy's been used in a something of a different role.
You actually get to see the base.
Yeah, you do. From overhead, it's being used in a different role there as a support fire gunship. You can do that too. The vehicles are quite flexible. You could say use a Sunderer as a troop transport, or use it as a heavy mobile assault bus.
Yes, it can also be to your advantage to use them kind of as tanks also in front of your other vehicles.
Yes, certainly. They take a lot of punishment. They're big targets. They can be used as bullet magnets.
They can put out a good amount of damage too, depending on like what weapons you're customizing your characters with and your vehicle with.
Certainly. At the moment, the progress on the base is looking fairly even, honestly. The Terran Republic have managed to pick up a capture point, and as a result are accruing tickets in the bars just below them.
Yeah, they're actually tied with the MC, where the Vanny were actually behind. Maybe I need to do another cheer for my Vanny buddies.
Well, right now the TR are actually going to take over another point, assuming he can clear out that trooper from the new conglomerate. Has been gunned down with great vengeance and furious anger. He has poisoned my brothers.
He gets more passionate only when it's the TR. But look who got killed by.
He was actually picked up by an infiltrator there, who was wearing a very silly hat.
Yes, it has a little horn attachment onto it.
Yeah, that's one of the many things that you can do that.
Yeah, we are a free-to-play game. I don't think we've said that today yet. It's
We
free
should probably
to play.
mention, yeah, this is not a subscription game. It's not something you have to pay for. It's going to be free to play. Microtransactions for customization.
Not
essentially.
power, just more variety.
Yeah. Kind of variety that could say, put chrome rims on your Flash. You can do that. Customize hubcaps. You'll notice the green headlights on the Mag Rider up there. That too is customization.
Yep.
The possibilities are really endless. We may actually see a quad by taking down a tank
I
here.
thought he was going to.
Yeah, I think he chickened out over there. I can hardly blame him.
No, I wouldn't stick around with that either.
It's probably not the best time to reload either. But once again, it does take practice. Planetside doesn't really play like other first-person shooters. It's got some immediately recognizable things, like aim-down sights, for instance, like sprint. You can see this immediately. The first thing you'll say is, oh, this looks familiar enough. But the scale changes everything.
And we've also added another element with the ability system. So every class has an ability. Some of the vehicles actually have ability items as well.
I don't think this is going to... Oh, it did, actually. It was an anti-air
no, see, that's why he should not have reloaded, but he was smart enough to pull out his pistol.
Got plenty more bullets to finish him off.
And he didn't get it. He was missing a lot of his shots.
That was unfortunate there.
It's okay. It's just the TR.
I am offended. I am offended. How dare you say such things about my brothers in arms?
I'm kind of sad Megamax was not in a max suit.
Yeah, I think he missed his calling there. Because we can, we're going to drive a Prowler tank into the middle of a base. Turns out that's pretty effective, although that thing's going to go up in smoke in a second.
I don't think he got the guy, so he might get.
No, he missed. He missed.
No, he got rocket launchered. Yep.
That was unfortunate for him. See, the Galaxy's been loaded up again, so we'll probably hop on over and have another look.
If you didn't notice what the heavy assault was doing, he was staying really close to the vehicle and then backing up at the last shot, so that the vehicle can only shoot so far and so close, so he couldn't get a really good angle on him.
Majestic Galaxy is on its way. Not fully loaded at the moment, being used primarily as a gunship. It's got all 3 of its gun turrets armed.
Ready.
They are quite powerful, but they have very limited arcs of fire.
It's like he's trying to
Desperately make his way onto the wall.
Yeah.
That's what, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, really, about the idea that there's a lot of verticality in the combat. Because people could just come from above, and you have to be aware of those threats all the time.
He's going to protect his home dog here while he hacks the terminal, or he
Probably a
hopes
good
that he's
idea.
hacking it.
Terran Republic has almost taken the facility, but the new conglomerate have had a nice resurgence here.
Yeah, it's pretty close right now between the NC and the TR. And if you haven't noticed already, and some of you guys are new that are joining us, on the left-hand side, this is a ticket system. Or was a ticket system before he died to my
That was actually
awesome
really
Vanny
smart.
buddy.
Incredibly smart play there by the Vanu player. Noticing that there was a deployed turret in there, he just tosses in a grenade from behind to clear out the room.
Yeah.
Defend at A, defend Alpha.
And I'd like to note that grenades will not be spammable. Like, you really want to be careful with those because they're going to cost you resources.
Yep, certainly a fairly limited resource without question. Again, we see the Liberator. We're going to hop on over to the Terran Republic side of things. So I'd like to know what exactly they're doing. They're about to concede their advantage. Getting a little bit lighter in the sky now. I don't believe there's been a decision on how long the day-to-night transition is actually going to take.
Yeah, we haven't. I think I discussed this a little bit earlier too. Yeah, we haven't decided on how long we want it to be. Right now, it's currently in about an hour, so we'll probably be changing that up a bit, depending on how it works.
Galaxy coming in nice and low to strafe that location. Fortunately for that Mosquito, it seems to be out of ammunition. Oh, that's going to leave a mark.
That's Scythe.
Again. Actually,
It's a different guy, but
different guy this time. So
still Scythe. I love seeing my Vanu home dogs.
there we go.
Kill
The
people in
TR
style.
now getting in there. The new conglomerate have successfully captured the facility for the moment. But in this demo, what you'll notice is that each of the factions has a forward garrison. So they're immediately able to get back into the fight. In the real game, they'll have various spawn points that will then most likely be attacked immediately by the new conglomerate because they want to secure that base and all the surrounding area. And that base could eventually be considered a safe location. You can just return to the world. There will be no fighting there. You can acquire vehicles, you can resupply and rearm, and you can push out to the next objective.
Yeah, and the forward barracks is also a great advantage too if you still have some guys in there so you can clear them out quickly.
At the moment, the Terran Republic are doing a pretty good job. They've taken point A and B, leaving only C in the
Where
control.
are my Vanu home dogs?
There. Oh, hello. That's...
Oh, he's almost dead if he plays it right.
Yeah.
Kites him around. Oh, jump over the little lockers. Yeah.
Nice.
So the big thing about Max's is that
it
it can't really
worked.
turn
Almost.
as well. Like, he can move forward pretty well, so he probably actually should have gone behind him because it takes him a while to turn around. So jump jetting over Max's is a great strategy. It's a little hard inside a building because you're going to hit the ceiling sometimes.
You're ready to take over B.
See the dual burst the max
We
once
took
again.
out B, then we
If
got
you want to have two of the same weapon, you can do that. You're going to highly specialize. You'll be extremely dangerous in one role and essentially worthless in the others.
All right, bail.
Yeah, but I mean, you can also customize them so you can have one of a different kind and one of another different kind. And you can also make them look different. We really wanted you to be able to customize them separately. So Maxes are pretty awesome in that way. I always want a flamethrower. I wish someone had a flamethrower right now so you can see it at night. It looks so nice.
I'm sure we can find them at some point.
But this is actually pretty good because there's so many aircraft up there right now.
Oh yeah, it's a target-rich environment.
Yeah.
Be careful not to hit his fellow pilots. Burst is a very dangerous weapon simply because it has no lock-off warning. So if you're skilled enough, if you can lead the target, you can actually put down a nice layer of flak that an aircraft will run right into.
Looks like the chat is really liking the Maxes.
I can't really blame them.
They're pretty awesome.
Alright, hold
They're fun
these
to
2
play
points,
too.
hold these
Like
2
you just
points.
feel like this beefcake on the battlefield.
You do, yes, but you're such a large target as well.
I don't have B.
Yes.
Everyone wants to kill you.
But there are some people who still miss.
Just like that.
Yep, grenaded. But he's already damaged quite a bit before then.
Indeed. Nice view of the Vanguard tank there, ramming in. As thankfully
Ooh,
was
is he gonna
missed
get
there
that
by
guy?
the rocket. I think
Yeah,
he
the
is.
rocket, yeah, he got him. He's trying to get the heavy assault. There's another guy there.
And he
Oh,
picks
got
him up.
both.
Nicely done.
Yes.
There we go. That's a Vanguard and Prowler, but the rear armor is a much weaker location.
Nice.
The Vanguard has the
Kill
most powerful gun of any of the main battle tanks.
It's very slow reload compared to the other ones. so-
Certainly, yes. The Prowler, as you probably noticed there, has 2 barrels.
Jackal, get in the galaxy.
Considerable push later on to have 4 barrels.
Yeah, and we actually have 3 factions, the New Conglomerate, Vanny Sovereignty, and Terran Republic. And each of them have a different style. So the TR are more fiery, so they like spam fires everywhere, whereas like the
We're leaving without Jackal.
New Conglomerate is heavy hitting, and then the Vanu have
Okay, we're going to B.
energy
We're gonna take
weapons,
it
so they
over, crush
don't
the
really use a
TR.
conventional ammo system that you would in a...
Yeah, they
The
have a
Conglomerate or
technological flexibility,
Yes.
as I like to call it. You're going to be able to do things that a traditional bullet-based weapon won't be able to do.
Yeah, we
Fail,
actually do
fail,
have directional
fail,
armor.
fail.
Someone was commenting about that. In the original Planetside, we didn't. We do have headshots now, and we have directional armor on our vehicles. So depending on what armor that person's wearing, you're probably going to want to shoot them at different angles.
Facility fall to the enemy.
And headshots are awesome.
That they are. It's nice to be able to see that.
No, my Vanu
Take over B so we can
brethren.
get this defend.
They're not doing so well, are they?
No.
Maybe they should join a proper team. To be
Oh.
fair, if we were looking for an
Oh.
excuse, we saw the population indicators there. The Vanu are slightly outnumbered at the moment.
That's
Not by
true.
much. Not enough of an excuse, I feel.
Looks like he's going to spawn a Liberator. He's cheating. He's giving him some.
Yeah, that's
some
actually one of the
currency.
developers that we're seeing there.
All NC, get A, get A.
We'll say hello to that
Don't let
galaxy.
the TR get this.
Air battle is looking fairly large at the moment.
You can see the customization on this vehicle also, once again. We really want you to be able to customize your weapons, your vehicle, your look, and get that look. I can't wait to see like a full squadron of aircraft together. It's going to be awesome.
And it happens as well. It really can. Why don't you explain a little bit about the battle rank system? We just saw him achieve battle rank 8.
Yeah, so the battle rank system is basically our experience system. We're allowing you to level up your character, and as you level up, you'll get certification points, and you can spend those. And those are actually time-based certification points. So you spend them in different weapons, you spend them on customizing your weapons, you spend them on customizing your vehicles, gaining new vehicles, etc. So you're going to want to make sure you're spending them those points wisely and spending them on things that you want. I mean, if you play the game enough, you're probably going to get all of them unlocked and kind of customize from there.
And do that. Galaxy going down at the moment. We'll see if it manages to successfully land. I'm going to go with no.
I don't know why it's over there, right there. Oh.
That was unfortunate. It took quite a bit of damage there from the tail gun and then flew into a cliff.
Well, it's better than letting someone else get the kill.
Well, just because you're a developer doesn't mean you're great at the game.
Oh.
All right, taking off in 10 seconds.
You just heard that guy over the voiceover system that we have. It's
We're
pretty
going to give
awesome.
air support, and if we need a drop, we will.
Well, we can switch back over to the view of that actually. Show you hopefully another Galaxy drop in progress.
All right, taking off.
Vehicle's currently being loaded up. Got a huge amount of people in there. The New Conglomerate not using Galaxy drops to their fullest, I would feel, at this stage.
So everyone being a gunner.
What you really want with a Galaxy drop is a full squadron to drop on the target, but at the moment they're in a defensive posture. They actually hold the amp
Yeah.
station, so a Galaxy can also be used as a mobile fire support platform. Very useful for bringing down aircraft. It takes a ton of punishment.
But it's very big. So
Yeah, it's a big target.
And it's kind of slower than all the other aircraft, so if they're really smart about where they're maneuvering, they can kind of stay on top of the vehicle. That's probably the best location, is above it.
Yeah, that's the only location that's not really covered by heavy guns. So.
Yeah. I mean, Planetside is all about tactics, so you have to really think about where you're positioned and where your enemy is.
You see they're just orbiting around the station at the moment to try and provide fire support, to clear out the air a little bit, give air superiority to the new conglomerate. Make sure that things are a little bit less risky for them. The Vanu have now actually got the hack on one of the 3 locations in the space, so they're going to start to capture it.
He needs to get out of that vehicle.
And now is the time to leave.
They all need to drop before they die.
Yeah, and then run away before the galaxy falls on top of them. He's thankfully able to do that without any problem whatsoever. Well, we've got a bit of lull in the action now, so I think it's probably a good time to switch out. We're going to be welcoming the new conglomerate player. Aww. You picked the adorable faction.
Banu for life. Yeah, it was great. I hope that you guys enjoy the game and look out for us. Remember, we're free to play.
Indeed. Mr. Clegg will be joining us on the mic in just a few short moments' time. Don't go anywhere, folks. Currently watching Planetside 2, brought to you live from E3. If you happen to be at E3, please do come on down to the booth. You can watch all 12 stations. You can watch the stream. You can actually get a chance to play the game as well. Check out the theater presentation. Get yourself a beta key. And if you're not here, that is unfortunate for you, but you will be able to catch all of the videos on demand, actually already up on YouTube from yesterday's stream, and you can watch the stream over at twitch.tv/Totalbiscuit. Mr. Clegg, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
How are you doing this fine day?
Good, doing good. Been showing a lot of Planetside,
everybody. That was my chair breaking again.
That was not
That was
me.
the most inappropriate time for that to happen. So
it definitely wasn't any new conglomerate infiltrators.
It was all you.
It
was
definitely
all
wasn't.
you.
We weren't infiltrating your seat. Maybe we were.
I don't trust you at all. These chairs are actually breaking. Yours is as well, in fact. I'm slowly sinking into the ground.
Yep.
Never mind. Let's go back to the game. That's what people want to see anyway. Well, you can see the new conglomerate trying to hold on to Zerman Am Station. There's a successful hack from the Terran Republic. But the new conglomerate can try and take it back by re-hacking the security consoles. The progress bars are down to the bottom. The Vanu Sovereignty in the purple, the new conglomerate in the blue, that currently have the dominance over this base and are looking to keep their filthy mitts on it. And the Terran Republic, who really haven't had a look in edgeways at the moment.
I see the new conglomerate are doing better today. They weren't taking anything yesterday.
They really weren't, actually. They were not performing well at all. Thankfully, they seem to be a little bit more organized this time around.
Mic test, 1, 2, 3.
It works.
Hey everyone, we got a Galaxy back in NC Forkett, and we're going to take over Capture Point C. Let's smash our foes.
But this is a very popular configuration for the Max unit. A lot of people are picking it up because it's quite fun to use. It's called the Burster Flak Cannon.
Yeah, people have been having a lot of fun shooting this, especially at nighttime. It just lights up the sky.
It does. It very much does. You can fire both at once, which is very, very nice. It makes you an absolute terror.
Yeah, I actually like to fire them independently too. Just left, right, left, right, left, right. It just feels really nice.
It certainly does. You can be an unbelievable terror to anything that's in the air. Pretty much the most powerful ground-based anti-aircraft fire that we currently have available.
Or you can shoot them at the max and see what happens.
It doesn't tend to work very well. The infiltrator brings down the max, which is highly embarrassing.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, if you get killed by someone in a wetsuit, then you've really done something wrong.
A wetsuit with horns there.
Take over B.
Oh, very stylish. I hear that's in this season. Let's check out a different max configuration, shall we? Now, what have we got here?
This looks like a max getting destroyed by a Liberator. That's what that looks like.
Time to get inside.
Yep. But it looked like he had the anti-vehicular rockets on the left with the anti-infantry gun on the right.
So-called scatter cannon. It's a giant double-barreled shotgun attached to your arm because, hey, why not?
Or nicknamed Scattermax.
Or Splattermax.
Or Splattermax, yes.
There was a reason for that.
Take B,
I think that was the
take B,
remains of a Galaxy drop that's making a little bit of a mess of that base. Max is taking heavy fire. Can be fixed up. That's an infiltrator dead right ahead there.
Oh,
Nicely
that was a
picked
nice
up.
shot.
How does one get a headshot with a rocket mortar, I have to wonder. Kind of like that is the simple answer to that. It certainly did the job. Infiltrators, as you can see, they're not completely invisible. They can be picked up if you have keen eyesight, but you can also change the effectiveness of your cloak by using various different kinds of cloaking devices based on what you decide to certify into.
Yeah, correct. We have tons of unlocks with our game. We really want the player to customize their class as much as possible. So if they don't like a certain cloak, they can always get certifications and find the cloak that fits them, suits them the best.
Yeah, we're talking about certain kind of cloaks that can maybe you can stay cloaked while actually firing. But then other kind of cloaks that have they're better cloaks, but you will decloak while firing. Kind of trade-off is the way that a lot of the game is actually balanced.
Yeah, I remember in the first Planetside, the Phantasm actually started as a cloaked vehicle with guns. And that didn't work out so well. It was kind of just, nobody was on the server because they were all cloaked Phantasms with guns.
A lot of invisible players, not that fun to fight against. You want to see a flamethrower? There you go, folks. Flamethrower and a dual cycle of chain gun on the right hand. What we like to call overkill. Now imagine you can have hundreds of these. It's fairly effective. In fact, we had another max battle going on, but the max has just been brought down there. I'll switch to some more aerial view. I just enjoy watching fighting in the air.
Yeah.
Fantastic fun. There we go. We're going to have a little look at the Terran Mosquito. Only engaging a large air battle over our amp station, Zervan.
Yeah, this gives you a really good perspective of the scale of our game. This is all one facility, and we have 9 on this continent. So imagine this area times 9, plus the spaces in between the areas.
Yeah, and bear in mind this might look impressive, but how many players do you estimate we currently have on at the moment?
I would say upwards of maybe 100, and that is nothing to what we were expecting to have when we go into beta.
Yeah, you're looking at 2,000 players per continent, 3 continents. If you have all 2,000 players with all 3 factions in there, you can expect battles 6 to 10 times the size of what we're currently seeing.
Yeah, just basically take everything you're seeing right now and multiply it by at least 3.
It is fairly ridiculous. Switching through views as our players are killed off. Something you really need to learn about this game is you're going to die. And you're going to have to accept that. It will happen. It's not a shameful thing. Get back into the fight. Get yourself a new vehicle. Spawn on your squad. Get right back into it.
Yep. Luckily, we don't.
Everyone at the forward gear.
We don't really.
The galaxy.
I would say like handicap you for dying a lot. If you die a lot, we'll let you get back into the game really fast. We're not trying to force you to, stay on a death screen just because you died a bunch. The way we did our spawn mechanics, we've really made it so people can get back into the game really fast, even if they just died.
We are good for takeoff.
Terran Republic is now moving out with a couple of armored vehicles as well as a small ATV, which will be fed to the new conglomerate very soon by the looks of it. There's actually enemy vehicles there, but we have a bit of a pacifistic prowler. Double barrel cannon, the most rapid firing one of any main battle tank in this particular game, as you might imagine. You also take quite a lot of punishment, although this one has already taken some significant pounding.
Yeah, he needs an engineer somewhere to heal him. The engineers can heal the tanks. They also can heal the maxes. He needs to switch into third person so he can see where he's driving.
He needs to switch in to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Yep. And there he goes. We have an aircraft pilot that is very, very sensible. I get him actually to a nice height to get a good view on the battlefield. You'll notice the thrusters angle depending on what you're trying to do. If you try and hover, the thrusters will point towards the ground.
Oh!
If you try and fly into the ground, the thrusters will point in the direction of exploding. One way or the other, not a particularly wise thing to do. Flying does like a little bit of practice.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to do a nice aerial maneuver to sweep in there really low.
Oh, that didn't work out so well for him. He seems to be practicing fairly well. Getting himself into the air once again, hopefully staying there this time.
Yes.
You can see drop pods flying by. That's the squad spawn system in action. An aircraft of all three factions. Currently, it's difficult to say who's actually winning the air battle.
Yeah, we have a lot of our QA department's actually back in San Diego, and they're playing as well. And those guys are really, really good at flying the aircraft.
Really? I assume that wasn't one of them then. We'll flick on over here to another player who's decided to take a nice scenic view. The Terran Republic infiltrator sitting on the back of a Fury quad bike which has a heavy machine gun mounted to it. You can also mount rocket launchers to that, because hey, why not?
Now he is an infiltrator on a quad, and we are also talking about getting an ability to unlock a certification that you can equip to make it so you can stealth while you're on the ATV, which is something that you could do in the first Planetside.
Yeah, in Planetside 1 you actually had a vehicle called the Wraith. It was unarmored, certainly, and also unarmed. Very, very squishy vehicle, but you could cloak while on it, so it was the ideal vehicle to drive around in as an infiltrator.
Yeah, and that's what's great about the certification system. I mean, as an MMO game, we can just update it and let players choose what they want to certify themselves in. Maybe they don't like certain options, and they don't always have to choose it.
Absolutely not. Infiltrator getting in a nice position. That's a nice little flyby there by the Reaver. Surprised they didn't fly into the ground. We've been seeing a lot of that today.
Nice job at B. Now let's keep going.
He's currently being taken by the Terran Republic. Voice over IP being used by one of the QA testers just to try and herd our players here in the right direction. You see a Vanguard tank there in desert camo. Can the infiltrator do anything about it though? That's not the best way to deal with it. Infiltrators, well, usually they just want to be avoiding the tanks.
Yeah, it looks like he spotted it for his teammates. That's about the best he can do right now, and hopefully one of the heavy assaults sees that.
Definitely a smart thing to do. I think if you're up for it, we might actually do a little bit of Q&A with the stream chat right now.
Sure.
I'd like to throw some questions over. If you happen to be in the stream chat over on twitch.tv/Totalbiscuit, if you have a question, then by all means throw it in our general direction, and the masterful Mr. Clegg will field it for you.
Yes.
Using his expert knowledge of this game. Over the Terran Republic sniper trying to pick up an enemy going through. Now, one of the first questions that has come up quite a lot is pretty relevant, is that is, can you go prone in Planetside 2?
Currently, you cannot go into prone. It is something we've been talking about internally. It's a big decision for sure. Something that we may need to look into once we start beta. With a lot of these questions that we get, a lot of them it's hard for us to answer because we're not in beta. And with a game of this size, you really need 1,000 people just to test a feature like that. We could put in prone and then test it internally, and it might work fine. Then we go to beta, and prone just is totally unfair, and it just doesn't work. So right now we do not have prone, but that doesn't mean that we won't listen to the community later if it works, if something like that can work in beta once we have thousands of players.
Interesting question. How many common pool or so-called neutral guns are there versus how many Empire-specific weapons that are available for each faction?
Currently, most of the weapons are common pool. We have some specific Empire-specific weapons. That number changes all the time. We have tons and tons of weapons. We're still trying to decide who gets what weapons, and we still have the classics in there, like TR gets the mini chain gun and the Juggernaut and for NC and whatnot. But for all the other weapons, we have such a huge pool of them. We're just trying to decide where they fit best.
I'm loving the engagement that's going on at the moment. We've got an infiltrator playing cat and mouse with a max unit. trying his best to bring him down. Hasn't managed to do so yet, but staying out of range of the new conglomerate Max and using his maneuverability to his advantage. He's found him now. He takes him out. Very skillful play there by the Terran Republic sniper.
I see a nice question. It says, what things can the infiltrator hacker do? And our infiltrator is more than just a sniper. We see people sniping a lot with the infiltrator, but what I really like about the infiltrator is it also can be a gadgeteer or a hacker. So they can get a really good stealth going, they can sneak behind enemy lines, they can drop mines, and just kind of drop little gadgets and really kind of mix up the battle that way. And that's just as effective as an infiltrator who's a sniper picking off medics and whatnot.
What you may also notice, this is a question that comes up a lot. It's like, are the weapons hit scan? I think you can clearly see no, they are not. There is bullet drop in the game. There are proper projectile physics for these weapons. Bullets do have travel time. They're not going to instantly land on a target. Here's an interesting question for those of you who played Planetside 1. We would be seeing a return of orbital strikes.
Oh, orbital strikes. That is definitely in the works. We are talking about how we want to do that. The best plan of action for an orbital strike. We know that that is an iconic piece of the first Planetside, and something that we really want to get right. So currently you don't see any orbital strikes in this build, but it may take a while before we decide how we really want to use it.
For those who don't know, the orbital strike was available for high-level commander players. They were able to call down a large laser beam from the sky. If you were under that, then you had a tendency of dying horribly, regardless of what you were in. A lot of people are asking about the system requirements because it is a really good looking game, but there's someone concerned that it's going to take a very high spec system to run.
For what you're seeing now, we do have a really high spec systems running what you see, but that doesn't mean you need a high spec system to play this game. We have tons of options in the graphics qualities. Our programming department are just graphic nuts, and they want you to just be able to turn on and off tons of different things. So if you have a lower end machine, you can still turn a lot of these settings to low or medium, and you don't lose anything in the gameplay. The gameplay is still there, and you still feel like you're in a massive world.
Yeah, we should point out that the feeds coming from these computers are 1080p running at 60 frames per second. Needless to say, our stream is running at a little bit less than that, because that's what streaming does. But as anyone that's been playing this, and you can just see it on the monitors right now, on the left and right monitors, if you happen to be watching from the event, that is live gameplay coming straight off those machines. You can see running at a very smooth frame rate, even for an alpha build. The middle screen is, of course, the stream, which is running at a lower frame rate to accommodate the viewers coming in from all over the world. Will there be any urban areas or urban-style combat areas in Planetside 2?
Yes, actually, a lot of our outposts have that urban-style feel. As a level designer, I've crafted some of these outposts to feel that way. Taking some of these buildings, putting them close together, making like a vehicle path that goes through it, and so it has that urban feel. So we do have it. Some of these facilities do have it as well, but right now what you're seeing is a really open infantry versus vehicle battle.
While we're loading up this galaxy for the next job, we're going to throw it on over to Maggie with a quick interview with someone that's just got finished playing Planetside 2. So take it away. Having a few mic problems there, so we will hop back in as we get the chance. I'm going to be doing a little bit more Q&A with Adam Clegg very shortly, folks. By all means, get your questions in.
Don't give up. We're still in it.
So a nice view of the cockpit there of the Galaxy. Usually not what you want to be viewing from, because this thing is difficult to maneuver. It's very large, so there are risks of crashing into hillsides. So usually best to stay in third person. See a quick drop coming out of there. He's actually thrown The squad down in a Galaxy hot drop was only half a squad's worth, so not a huge drop, but dangerous enough nonetheless. Now he's bringing this Galaxy around to land once again. Can be used as a mobile spawn point, or can simply be used as a bastion to regroup, and unfortunately his landing skills aren't quite up to par.
Coming in there a little too hot.
Just a little bit. All right, we're going to try the interview again. So, round 2, let's take it away.
I played, mostly I played Max.
Why'd you play the Max?
Because he has big guns and of course the flamethrower.
I love the flamethrower. It's one of my favorite weapons. So, what was your favorite thing so far today?
I actually had a medic on me and he was healing me constantly.
Oh,
so,
when you were Max. That's actually an engineer that was healing you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was an engineer or a combat medic.
Yeah, because engineers are the only ones that can repair you as a Max and also repair vehicles.
That's because I'm a big robot, basically.
Yes, pretty much. Well, I'm glad that you had a lot of fun, and hopefully you get some more Max action in our beta. All right, see you guys. Back to Totalbiscuit and Adam Play.
Thank you very much. I'm just gulping at this mosquito and the bravery required to fly something that's on fire. Ooh. Yeah, that might happen.
Yep. I'm finding a lot of the people here that have been playing Planetside 2 like to get in the heavy assault, get up on some of these walls, and just pick out all of these aircraft that are flying in the sky.
I'm okay with that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Let's get back to the Q&A, shall we? We've got some specific questions. I think people have seen the certification system. They've got a few ideas about what might be available, but let's go into some specifics, particularly for vehicles. We've got a question here. What kind of defensive unlocks will the Galaxy have besides extra armor?
Let me think.
That is putting you on the spot, isn't it? It's like, answer this very, very specific question about this tiny piece of the game, please. Demonstrate your knowledge.
So, with the Galaxy, we have tons and tons of certifications. The kind of armor that you can put on, besides armor, you can definitely add speed, which is something that you can use defensively. You can add kind of overall defense once the Galaxy hits the ground, and you can kind of have it deployed, things of that nature.
Handy stuff, you don't want to be shot out of the sky. This is a Sunderer we're looking at here. Hasn't been used so much in this test because it is a rather large, unwieldy bus, but you can store quite a few people in it. Actually take 12 spots. It also has, in this case, the loader actually has a smoke launcher, as well as 2 heavy battle cannons on the top. It can take quite a lot of punishment. I believe it actually ended up taking a full volley there from a Terran Mosquito that flies dangerously close. This is the perfect way to deliver a squad right into the heart of an enemy base. It usually has the armor to actually survive, and then you can make your way directly into the capture point to storm the facility. It's another option besides, say, Galaxy dropping on the top.
Yeah, the Sunderer has a ton of armor. They built it that way so it can kind of lead the battle in front of all of the tanks, just to get the troops in there first before everybody else arrives.
Now, I suppose what's relevant, if you are thinking about driving a Sunderer or whatever, would be the layouts of the different bases. Now, being someone that has actually worked on that, can you tell us a little bit about the different layouts of bases we'll be seeing?
Sure. Well, this is the AMP station, and this layout is unique to this base. Every single one of our bases feel unique. Now, every single facility is going to have the same core, what we call superstructure, so you can identify it as an AMP station or a biolab. But once you get there, each of the layouts is going to feel very unique. They're all handcrafted. It's something that we pride ourselves in to make sure that no matter where you're fighting on the continent, it feels unique. Now, that was a question I could answer.
He was doing so well. He was doing so well. Biolab is something I'm looking forward to actually showing.
All right, Galaxy leaving soon.
Should be a lot of fun to see.
Looks like a Galaxy and a Liberator getting ready to take off here.
Let's just see if they manage to pull that off. It sounds like a very powerful thing to be able to drop an entire squad, but it's also inherently risky. If you don't have air superiority at the time, that's 12 people in one very large, slow-moving target.
That's a lot of XP if you kill that thing.
Yes, it is. It's currently half full already. They're utilizing the guns on the Galaxy to try and keep away marauding aircract. What they're able to do, these guns are pretty heavy, but they have limited arcs of fire.
Yeah, it's kind of an all-in-one vehicle. It's a gunship, it's a spawn point, it's a troop transport. It's kind of the pride vehicle that we have in our game.
And it's airborne, folks. It's not full, but it's pretty close. We actually have 7 people in this Galaxy dropship at the moment. What they're going to do is they're going to decide a point to take, and then they're going to drop the squad directly on top of it, while providing fire support with the Galaxy's guns. And there it goes.
Yeah, so what you see is all of the people in the Galaxy all drop down on point C right now, kind of to just rush it.
Yeah, and it's great because you all drop as a group, so you immediately become an effective fighting force when pushing an area. You can also drop max units, as you can see. The Terran Republic are trying to hold on to this point as desperately as they can, deploying max units. A light assault jumps down from the roof there as grenades go flying into the base area. Nice pickup kill there by our... Oh, he killed Neil deGrasse Tyson. What a terrible person.
Now, when you do a drop like this, it's definitely wise to bring some medics too. So
it is. When
you have, because not everything goes well, and when you have some people die, you can revive them and keep the push kind of moving.
Yeah, and you will die. I mean, in a Galaxy drop, don't expect everyone to make it to the floor intact. They can be gunned down, they can be caught in flak, as you might imagine. But use a medic to revive, and you can continue your assault. Very much useful in squads as well, because squad deployment, you can spawn, you can drop pod on top of somebody. Great, sounds fantastic, right? Well, it's a bit limited, because once you've done it, you trigger a cooldown, so you can't do it again for a limited period of time. So you really want to be reviving your squad mates rather than just relying on that system.
Yeah, and a lot of these other empires, once the players get wise to how the game works, they're going to see the gal drops coming, and they're going to be waiting for it. And so sometimes you're going to think that you got these guys, you're very sneaky doing your gal drops, and as soon as you get in there, you just get ambushed. So it's a very risky move.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the mission system? It's not something we can, of course, show in this demonstration, but a lot of people are asking about command roles and things like that and the way that it's now going to work.
Yeah, so right now the mission system's main objective is to point players, new players specifically, as to where to go. That was something in Planetside 1 that people who just started playing had a tough time with. They get in the game, they're in a sanctuary, they're walking around in circles, they don't really know what's happening. The mission system's going to help that. They're going to hop in the game, the mission system's going to give them a mission, it's going to be on their map, it's going to be on their HUD, they're going to know where to go. Later on, we want to make player-created missions, and these are the types of missions that commanders can do. They can maybe coordinate an airstrike or coordinate a gal drop, and they'll select a mission for that. It'll show up on the people that are best suited for that. Then those guys can do the gal drop. If it's successful, then everyone gets resources and experience boosts, things like that.
Needless to say, there's nothing stopping you just doing that anyway without actually using a mission. This is a game that's really based around playing with your friends and outfit mates. You can have outfits that are hundreds of players large, and you can organize all this kind of stuff yourself. Now, is there any news on Empire-specific max abilities as of yet?
Not currently. What you see right now is you see all of the maxes using like flamethrowers and anti-aircraft and things like that. Those are things that, again, once we see how each faction plays in the beta, we can kind of decide what kind of maxes get what kind of weapons and things of that nature.
We haven't had a big look at the Vanu for a while, so let's do that. If he kills it from there, then he gets a prize. It seems fairly unlikely. TR currently have control of this facility. The man with the tiniest pistol you've ever seen is attempting to take it back.
Oh, there you go. There's a bigger rocket.
That's probably a better thing to use. Unfortunately, you can't lock on to maxes with this rocket launcher.
I think a bunch of VS just bailed out of their galaxy.
That is a look at the size of that. It's a massive Vanu Sovereignty Assault. This is a perfect opportunity to see what's going on in there. Good lord.
Yeah, you can see all the little triangles. Those are all of his allies.
Yeah.
Since he is VS, and you saw them just flood out of that galaxy, and then it looks like they're trying to take that capture point.
And I think they're going to be successful in that by the looks of it. Indeed, they already have control of point B.
Yep.
That's what happens when you drop 12 players on one location. Now think about that times 10.
Yeah, think about 10 galaxies coming in, doing that at each one of these points at this base. And you're just talking a full-on assault out of nowhere.
That's why it's so important to actually control the air and prevent that from happening. It can be one of the most devastating strategies that you can employ in this game. Looks like our friend is finally being spotted, unfortunately, and will now be taken out by John Kimball in his Mosquito with rocket pods. In the meantime, the Nuke Conglomerate really aren't getting a look in. You'll notice there that he's customized it with some camouflage, but the camouflage, it's still faction-specific color.
Yeah, and that's something that we want to keep going too. We want people to be able to still look like their faction. It wouldn't be very fair if TR can start making themselves look blue to kind of trick the NC to thinking that it's a teammate. So,
no self-respecting Terran Republic soldier would be seen dead in blue and yellow. Thank you very much. It's a good opportunity to see some of the customization there. Obviously, this is limited for the demo. There's going to be a lot more available.
Yeah,
we customize primary and secondary weapons.
Yeah, we gave most of these. We tried to give as much customization to all these demo stations as possible. Some of these only have one camo customization, so the players come on, they click the zebra one, and then it stays on there. But definitely, in some other of your videos even, they've seen that we've had tons of customizations for the tanks.
Yeah, there's a lot of experimentation going on in the internal alpha as to how many customizations there can be, throwing in different variants of different guns, like which one of these works. We saw the experimental quad turret, for instance, for the Prowler. All sorts of crazy stuff like that. Saw another Galaxy drop go off there, an entire squad dropping in, proving to be very effective for the Vanu Sovereignty at present.
And what you see here is you see people, we keep taking over the same base over and over and over. For this demo, we were just having everyone be in this one facility, but in a real life gameplay, you'll see one facility get taken over and the battle will move to the next facility. And that's another big thing that people are missing. When you see all of these troops kind of move from one place to another, it's a spectacle, seeing everyone get coordinated and go to the next facility.
Everyone get in the Galaxy at the NC Garrison.
New Conglomerate is trying to gather a Galaxy drop here once again. Since they only have control of a single point within the base, their tickets are not going up so fast. So they're going to load up as many people as possible.
Oh yes, this looks familiar.
Yep.
Sitting in the Galaxy waiting for your friends to come join you.
Being a sitting duck on the ground in the process. Very dangerous thing to do.
Spamming your friends. Hurry up, get in, get in, get in.
Load up as quickly as possible to get the hell out of there.
My favorite is the one guy who gets left behind as the Galaxy takes off.
It always happens, every time. Half a squadron there, 7 members. Still more than enough to push any point. Let's see if they're able to do that.
And you're seeing some of the camera glitches. This is all because the game is in alpha. In no means do we expect the game to look like this.
Drop, drop, drop. There we go. Down on the ground, found himself, unfortunately, stuck between 2 fuel pods, wishing he was a light assault with jump packs at the moment. He'll be able to make his way off there.
Yeah, we'll have to make a note at that spot to fix that.
Yep, that looks like an area that was just a tad broken.
That looks like a good beta bug.
Yeah, that's something that we can fix. Well, they successfully took the point regardless, even without his assistance. Actually, we're using him to distract the opposition. Speaking of distracted...
Ooh.
A little too late there. He could have picked him off quite easily.
Yep. The TR went back into his spawn.
That's the last thing you want as an infiltrator, to be caught out like that. Infiltrator is a very powerful class, but needless to say, it doesn't take a lot to bring him down.
All right, we need everyone into the Galaxy. Air support, get ready to carpet bomb C. I'll let you know when.
So they're going to be dropping on point C.
Axis in.
Going to be seeing a new Galaxy drop coming momentarily. I'm going to switch to the point of view of the Terran Republic Mosquito, who's keeping an eye out He's essentially doing the air patrol at the moment. You'll most likely see the Galaxy drop come in, assuming he can stay alive. He's been flying fairly well throughout this presentation. Here it is. That's the New Conglomerate Galaxy drop on its way in. Mosquito forced away by the anti-air guns mounted to it.
Ooh, as those drop pods come flying down.
Yeah, things are getting a little bit hairy up there.
Yep, starting to look like a Planetside.
Galaxy just debris flying everywhere as it desperately attempts to escape. It probably won't.
Oh.
He's managed to stabilize, although I have a feeling he's going down
Oh,
very
there they all
shortly.
go. I think they all came out. Oh.
There's actually a Vanu's Sovereignty drop there from the Galaxy. Now this is one for Planetside 1 players. They're quite curious because the generator room was a big feature of Planetside 1. Absolutely massive feature. And once you brought the generator down, you couldn't spawn, you couldn't bring vehicles in, all sorts of different things. But what about in Planetside 2? Are there going to be any other, these kind of sub-objectives, I suppose, other than capture points?
Yeah, we're talking about using different side objectives, which also would be tied into the mission system. So you would have your main mission, then you would have your second objective type of mission. And those are the types of things that we're working out how we really want to affect what that means when you take one of those secondary objectives.
As mosquitoes have a tendency to do, they get swatted out of the sky. An unfortunate name, really, for a vehicle. I would have liked something a little bit more difficult to bring down. Like a sky hippo. I think actually that's probably the best description for the Galaxy that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
So back to the viewpoint of the Vanu Sovereignty there. Even their most basic sites look highly futuristic as a result of this alien influence. There you see, that was like the basics of the mission system on the side there, wasn't it? Just this, you saw this little legend which had various little hotspot icons that could be used.
Yeah, and those are color-oriented, so yellow, orange, and red being the highest priority mission. And when you go to these high-priority missions, you will be rewarded more experience, more resources. That's what's going to help guide the players to those high-priority areas.
No, that's currently not implemented. Are you feeling lucky? Well, he does have a rather heavy weapon. It's going to be heavy enough to deal with that max unit, however. Unfortunately, he is not a heavy assault trooper, so he doesn't have a rocket launcher. He does have a few grenades that could be used to clear this area out.
As debris flies everywhere.
Yes, it does. Things get really hairy in a... Oh, hello. Speaking of really hairy. Yeah, you're dead.
Yep, dual chain gun.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was taken down. Actually, he did take a lot of damage in the
Yeah, it
first.
looks like he almost killed him.
Yeah, the Vanu surrounded him and destroyed him, but yeah, that's a little bit dangerous. You don't want to be anywhere near a max with that kind of loadout. Speaking of maxes with interesting loadouts.
This guy is customized to the max with, with his left and his right and his body armor.
You gotta look good while barbecuing the horrendous rebel forces in this game, in my opinion. A minor question for those who like dealing with dual wielding. Will there be options to have dual wield guns on the max? Always alternate fire, like a check-on-check kind of toggle there?
Yeah, with something like that, it would probably go into your certification, maybe a utility slot. So it'll be how it is now, and then maybe when you wanted to certify a utility, you can slot that in your max utility slot, and maybe it'll be alternate fire or firing at the same time, things like that. Again, feeding into this is why having an MMO FPS is so nice, because us, the developers, can listen to the players and update the game on a regular basis.
Switching between screens is always interesting. We always seem to do it just